Hey, what's up, team? First Team Defense here, and we've got another great Tuesday tip coming at you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, what's up, team? Bill Watkins here, and we're back with another Tuesday tip this week. And I wanted to go over height over bore. We've got our defensive rifle classes coming up this fall and stuff, and we get a lot of people in here. And when we start to go over height over bore, or making sure you know what your offset is, you may hear it called that at some times. When we have our AR style rifles and stuff, you put your red dot on it, and when we start teaching defensive rifle, we get into like a close quarter combat scenario situation, especially if you're using it for home defense. You're not going to be 100 yards away from somebody. And if you've got your rifle sighted in at 100 yards or 100 meters, whichever you prefer to use there, then you get into your house. Most rooms in houses nowadays are 12 by 14. It's a pretty standard room. All right. So yardage wise, if you're looking at that, or meter wise, you're talking about maybe 2.5, 3 meters, or maybe 3 yards, 4 yards wide, okay, on the room. So that's a lot different than having it zeroed for 100 yards. So what we're talking about is, with that, when that bullet leaves that barrel, it stays straight for about roughly 20 yards, 25 yards. And then at that point in time, as it comes and it's starting to cross, it's starting to elevate like into an arch. And then once it starts to come back down, it'll be running out of momentum. So you're going to get that as it comes out, it's going to be straight, you're going to arch, and then it's going to start to come back down again. When that bullet comes out of that barrel, if you're aiming at their head, you've got your red dot right here on their head, and you've got a 2.5, you've got a 3-inch offset or height over bore on your rifle, that's going to put the bullet down here, or it may even miss them at all. You may not be aiming if you're trying to catch a shoulder, or if an arm, something like that, you may end up missing because you're not going to be sighted in for that close of a range. And especially if there's a hostage situation, if you've got, your wife, your kid, somebody is in that situation, and the only part that you have is maybe this head or part of this shoulder sticking out that you can get a shot off on. You want to make sure you're right, because if not, you're going to end up hitting the wrong person or missing completely. So how do we fix that? Well, we got to figure out our height over bore. So first of all, let's take a look at our AR-15 here. All right, so we've got our standard M4 style AR-15 rifle here, and we've got a measuring tape. And when we want to check our height over bore, we're going to go basically with the center of your bore on your barrel here. So it doesn't have to be 100% exact, but I'm going to place this just about right into the middle of the bore, and we're going to come up here to where the middle of our red dot is, or where our red dot is in the glass in here. And that center happens to be just a little bit below the sight mark emblem that's on here. So we're going to come down here, we're going to kind of center it up a little bit and come back, and it's 2.5 inches. Okay, so we've got 2.5 inches sight height over bore. And how that's going to affect anything is, if you're out there under 25 yards, 25 meters, whatever, where your red dot is not going to be where that bullet impacts. So we want to make sure that it's about 2.5 inches or so. So we're going to go out to the range now, and we're going to show you just exactly what we're talking about. All right, so we're out here on the range. We make sure that we've got all of our PPE on and everything. We've got our eye protection, hearing protection. We've got a target set up downrange from us here at approximately 20 feet. And we're going to show you that height over bore now. We've got a red dot on our rifle. We're going to go ahead and get everything loaded up. We're going to take one shot and see exactly where it ends up. We measured 2.5 inches. So if everything stands to be correct, I should be able to shoot center mass. We've got a black dot on that target where we want to hit. Should be roughly about 2.5 inches below that black dot. So we'll see what happens. So we're going to keep our weapon, of course, pointed downrange in a safe direction. We're going to go ahead, we're going to get our magazine out here. We're going to insert our magazine into our weapon there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to charge our weapon. We've got a red dot on, of course. Still got the weapon on safe. I'm going to get a good footing stance here and stuff. And we're going to pull up. And when I'm on my target and I think I'm ready to shoot, we'll put my finger on the target or on the trigger, and then we'll shoot. Oops, better take it off safe first. Put the weapon back on safe, and we're going to keep it pointed, safe direction pointed down at the ground at this point in time, and we're going to go down and check out our target. All right, so we're down here at our target now, and you can see this is the black dot that I was aiming for up here, and this is where the bullet made impact. Now this is only about, like I said, 20 feet away, maybe just a little bit further, and that's about a standard size room if you happen to be using your rifle for some type of home defense. Is this still a good shot? Am I still going to wound the guy? Yes, I am. But we need to know what our offset is or what our height over bore is, because once again, like I said, if we have to make a precise shot, we want to make sure that we don't miss. If we're using that weapon for home defense, remember, it's traveling at about 31 to 3,200 feet per second. We don't want it going out of a wall or through a couple rooms, hitting somebody else, coming out of our house even, and hitting somebody else. Okay, so we want to make sure that every shot counts. If you ever been in one of our classes, we always tell everybody, there is a lawyer attached to every bullet, and it stays attached until it finds some place to rest safely. Now today we've got, our backstop, our hillside, our hay bales and stuff set up back behind us here. So we know that bullet's going to stop back there somewhere and it's going to be safe. But if it happens to fly out of your house, you're still responsible for that. You're going to be the one that's going to be charged for it if it does damage someplace else. So we're going to go back to the firing line, and this time I'm going to aim about 2.5 inches above the black circle, and then we'll see where it hits. All right, so we're back here at our target, and taking our safe. I'm going to aim about 2.5 inches above the black circle here. We'll put our weapon back on safe. And let's go back down and take a look at our target. All right, so we're back down here and we're looking at our target. And as you can see, this is the second shot right here. I was off just a little bit to the right there. I probably was a little bit heavy on the trigger of that shot. But when I was shooting, I was aiming right up here. I was trying to split the difference between here and here to here and here. And we still ended up, we hit inside of the black circle where we were wanting to. Basically, if you've ever heard the term, aim small, miss small. Okay, so we were still inside of our target area here. But the thing that you have to think about too, if you were aiming for his head up here, this distance, you're talking throat area, some place like that you're gonna hit. If you do hit it, is that still a good shot? Oh, sure, absolutely it is. It's still gonna be an effective shot. But the thing is, if they happen to move, happen to turn, anything like that, then that bullet, passes by because of your offset, then we're in trouble. That's one reason why we always tell you in class too, you always aim center mass. You ever see any of this stuff where they're like, oh man, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, or we're gonna do the headshots and all that? No, in the military, I started out military police, went through all my other schools and stuff. Every time that I went to a school, they taught us to shoot center mass. Never headshots, never shoot the weapon out of their hand or anything like that. That's all TV stuff there. So hopefully this will show you kind of what we mean about offset, and get signed up for one of our defensive rifle classes. Come out here and we'll even do it a little bit more, and you'll be able to find out where your offset is. All right, so we hope you got something out of that video. And if you did, make sure you share it, and don't forget to like it. Subscribe to our Facebook channel, YouTube, and Rumble, so we can get more education out there. And if you're looking for classes or you want to take a class, visit www www.firstteamdefense.com, and we've got a complete list of schedules of classes, dates, and times on there. So until next time, be safe, be vigilant, and always watch your six.